All
all
right,
that.
so I want to give people a little bit of background information on you. You were born and raised in Canton, correct?
Absolutely. Yes.
Okay. What side of town you from?
I grew up in Rainbow Acres. It's Chips now, but I grew up in Rainbow Acres. So what's that? The northeast side of town.
Yeah, yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Yep.
And what schools did you attend?
So growing up over there in Rainbow in the Chips area, if anybody is familiar, we were, even though we were in Kansas City district, we were bused into Plain Local. So I went to Pleasant View and Taft and then to Glen Oak. But my sophomore year, I transferred to the city and I ended up graduating from Timken. So I'm a Timken Trojan. They tried to get rid of our school, but
Hey, like I tell everybody, as long as you got the memories, that's all that matters.
right,
That's
right.
all that matters. That's
That's
all that matters. And then, where did you go to college? Did you go to college right after high school?
So I ended up getting pregnant with my son about the summer coming out of high school. So I went to Stark State for a little bit, then
Mm,
at Akron U, Cleveland State. Wasn't really sure what I wanted to do with myself, but then eventually I got my bachelor's and my master's from Troy State in Troy, Alabama. And then my doctorate came from the University of Phoenix. So I finally grew up and got my stuff together and figured out what I wanted to be when I grew up, Al.
okay, okay. Now, how was it balancing motherhood and still trying to get your education?
So when TJ was small, it was difficult, which is why I kind of, put school on the back burner because needed to work and, be able to provide and ended up getting married, trying to take care of family. But with the dawn of online learning, it became feasible. So I didn't really go the traditional brick and mortar method. I went on virtually, some classes every now and then have a class in class, but the dawn of online learning really made it possible to complete my education and still work.
Right. So what was the hardest part of motherhood when you was going through all that?
Just the balance, trying to make sure I was able to provide for him and making sure he had not only what he needed, but what he wanted, the nicer things. A lot of times we hear, we give our kids too much or, kids are spoiled, but I think there's nothing wrong with wanting your kids to have more than what you had. So that was important to me. So just making sure I could still work to provide for him, so that was that balance of trying to be in school, be successful in school, but still work. So
Hmm.
that I could be financially, not stressed, not strapped, to survive.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, now, as you when you decided you wanted to further your education, did you get a little bit of flack on that, or how was your support team?
My father, my daddy, just was the bomb. And he was like, and a lot of people in the city know my dad, Keith Snodgrass, but he was like, very like intellectual. He talked to me about things, your credit is a
Right.
bad your credit together, go to school, get an education because you don't want to be stuck in these dead end jobs. And although him nor my mother they both completed high school. My dad went to college for a minute, but neither one of them completed college, so it was cool the fact that, I had him telling me, go to school, baby, get an education. You want to be able to make moves and navigate life without being stressed out and strapped down. And my mother, really, really helped me with my son and was always there, a huge support. My aunt, who's actually on here, my auntie Kimberly Jenkins Snodgrass, she was always there for me. As I was trying to complete my doctoral process, it was difficult because I had to go to class every year for a week or so. And I elected to go in DC, the DMV area where she's at. So she was a huge support. My family, my friends, everyone was my brother, who I'm extremely proud of, who, Mook turned his life
Yeah.
around, got back to school, so he was pushing me and, always telling me I'm proud of you. So it was like something that I needed to do for myself, but also for my family, because they were really, really vested in me, and you know, being there to make sure I can make some different moves within life, you know. And your education is truly a bad boy, you know. And don't get me wrong, traditional college is not for everybody, but trade schools, you
Mm-hmm.
know, truck driving, plumbing, like you have to have something. Especially just being really transparent as an African American person in this world, we got to have a little bit more, a little bit extra to stand out from the crowd to get what we deserve, right? But
Right.
we have to try to do something. You know, if you're an entrepreneur, you still need to have some education and some things to be able to navigate. So it was not an option for me not to further my education.
That's what's up. So what made you want to go the direction education wise? Like what inspired you? Was it like a childhood dream or just or you was just kind of unsure for a while? How did that pan out for you?
Man, also, me and my sister, Tasha Daniels Ball, we had a conversation. Our school wasn't my thing. You know, she was laughing like, girl, how you got a PhD? How you hated school? Like, how you make it? You know, so so I really didn't have, you know, a specific plan. You know, people say, where do you want to be when you grow up? I never really thought about it. So I just knew I needed to go to school. So criminal justice is what my bachelor's degree. And I was like, criminal justice that's an easy degree. You know, I something with that. But then I ended up getting a, what do you call it? A temporary position, a temp job at a healthcare facility answering the phones. And you
Okay.
know, person always have been. So, you know, I made connections, and the COO of the facility kind of took to me. And so then I became a medical secretary, and then I became a medical assistant. And I was like, okay, I kind of like this healthcare thing. So that's when I got my direction and obtained my master's in healthcare management. And so I realized after being in that position why it was so important to me to be in healthcare. Yeah.
Okay. So what advice would you have for a young woman or even a young man as far as trying to figure out what path they would like to go, go in as far as obtaining a career? Because a lot of people have jobs, not too many people have careers.
Right, right. I'm a firm believer that exposure creates experience, and exposure kind of go hand in hand. So my thing would be expose yourself to different people that are in different positions. You know, spend some time, go out, find mentors, talk to people that are in things that you may have interest in, because I think that that's what's missing. And you know, I focus on the African American, the Black community, because that's where I'm from. You know, I'm not
Right.
saying this doesn't pertain to other demographics and other ways of life, but I feel that that's what's missing for our kids. They're not dreaming beyond a rapper or a basketball player or a celebrity, these reality shows, because that's what they're seeing. They're not seeing Black doctors or being exposed to Black doctors, Black lawyers, entrepreneurs, engineers. I think that we need to change that and start exposing our kids to the possibilities are endless. You know, when you nine
Right.
times you ask little Black kids what you want to do, I want to play basketball, I want to be a doctor. You know, those things that they really can do, like being a doctor, doesn't really come up because they don't see brown and Black doctors, or they don't see female Black engineers, or you know, Black principals. So I think that we have to start exposing our kids to all of these possibilities. There's this commercial on BET that I love where this little boy is throwing the ball with his dad, and his dad is a famous football player, and the name is escaping me. But he was like, I'm gonna play ball. And his dad was like, you can do anything with these hands. You can be a surgeon, you can own the team, you know,
Yeah.
your possibilities are endless. We have to start exposing our kids, because I don't think they understand the possibilities for their life. And it's up to us. Like, we the elders now, Al. You
Yeah.
old.
Yeah.
You
Yes. No
old. You
doubt.
So we start filling in the gaps of our sugar mamas and our big mamas and them, and start exposing these kids to the things that to the possibilities that they have. Because, you know, I had a family that talked to me, that was in tune with me, but I had no idea what I wanted to do. I kind of just stumbled upon my career path. It wasn't an intentional conversation about, and you know, do you remember like those assessments we would get in school that would determine what you could grow up to
Yeah,
be? You would get stuff
yeah,
like armor and that stupid crap, you know? Like
yeah,
we gotta start recreating the scenario for our kids. We
yes.
gotta do that.
Especially here in Canton, Ohio. You know, it doesn't seem like there's as many learning options, and like I said, it's not a lot of exposure to things here. It seems like it's kind of, I can't even say it's leveled off. It's falling back,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, and it doesn't seem like it's a lot of things for kids to do to
Right.
even get exposures. You know, like I always felt like there should be like networking classes for kids. A lot of kids don't even know how to fill out an application nowadays, though, nor get dressed for an application.
Nope. Nope. Or where to go, or what, like my aunt said, level up by any means necessary. We got to level up, and we, you know what? So if the opportunities aren't here, we need to get together and create those opportunities. You know, I
Yes,
was talking yesterday to someone about a mentorship program that we need to start. You know, and we need to give back. You know, like, you a beast in the space that you in. You can, you know, you could hook up with a young guy or girl and put them up on your game. We need to
yeah,
try a mechanism where we're giving back, where we're pouring back into our community. Because if we don't do it, no one else is going to do it.
absolutely right. Because I know I come across a lot of kids, you know, and they always want to do music, and I try to discourage kids, you know, from getting into music. To be honest with you, I like it's a ugly game. It's a lot of work. See, they don't understand the work that really goes in. No matter what it is, you got to put in the work,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
And a lot of times with music and sports, it seems easy. Oh, I can just get rich if I just do this. But even these guys we watching in the finals, they put that work in, and you still got to have an education,
Absolutely. Absolutely. You got to.
you know,
Yeah.
because they, you know, most people can't manage $100, let alone $1 million.
Look, I sure will try.
That's what's up. So now, how did you join the sorority? Like, what was that process like? Like, what made you even wanna because you're a Delta, I think that is.
Yes. Ooh. Yeah. So, you know, I'm gonna be honest. So back when I was younger, I would see like the Cleo Lucases, you know, that were Deltas. And I always looked at those ladies like, wow, like they are refined, they are bosses out here, they giving back to the community, they're doing great things. Like, I want to be in that space. So it's
Right.
been something that I wanted to do, and there just wasn't any other choice for me other than the Delta Sigma Theta sorority. Like, you know, but really, truly, all of the Divine Nine, the Greek organization,
My bad. Go ahead.
we're all about community service, giving back, pouring into our community. It's a phenomenal network, a phenomenal way to give back, to be involved in your community, and just do positive things out here. So yeah, sorority, fraternity, the Divine Nine, Greek or Black Greek organizations. We, you know, we have our fun, and our sisterhood, but we are truly, truly, it's a business, and we are about business. You know, elevating, cultivating, and pouring into our Black and Brown communities.
I like that. Elevating and cultivating. I like that.
Yeah,
I like that. I like that.
borrow it. I'll let you borrow it.
Okay. Now, how did you no? At what point did you say, I'm gonna write a book?
Whew. So it's been something like that has been in me, like needing to be birthed for. Okay, let me back up. So a few minutes ago, I told you that once I was in healthcare, I realized why it was so important to me. So backing up to when I had my son, I was living in Stark Metropolitan Housing, in the system on welfare, food stamps, just in the system, Medicaid. And I remember going to the doctor and not being listened to, not being heard, being dismissed. And at the time, I didn't have the language to articulate what was happening to me. I just know it didn't feel right. So later on, once I'm in this space, I realize what this is. This is some lack of cultural competency. This is implicit bias. Oh, you're on Medicaid, so you lazy, you don't care. You come when we tell you to come. You don't know what you want. You don't know what you need. So we just gonna make decisions for you. So I vowed that that's not gonna happen on my watch. Like, we are gonna treat everybody with dignity and respect, and we are gonna look at these health disparities and these things that are causing our population to perish. Like, every year, 84,000 Black and brown people die from health disparities, and health disparities are preventable health burdens. Like, we're dying from diabetes, hypertension. Like, you don't have to die from those things. Infant mortality rates. Our Black and brown babies are dying 3 to 1. So for every one white baby that dies before their first birthday, there's 3 Black babies. So that's crazy. Why is that happening, right? So the need for me to write this book was to draw attention to health disparities, social determinants of health, inequities in healthcare, microaggression, implicit bias that are causing these unbalanced health outcomes. And I am a firm believer that God's timing is perfect, his divine intervention. So I've been thinking about this for a really long time, but last 2020 showed a light on what I'm talking about. So this timing is perfect, right? Because now people are listening. When you look at COVID, the pandemic, it's not by mistake that Black and brown people died at disproportionate rates from others. This is because of systemic issues that have been going on. 2020 drew light to that. 2020 with George Floyd drew light to racism as a public health crisis. Our Black men are suffering from PTSD because you guys are profiled, and all of those things add up, and all of that spills over into your health and your health and your wellness, our mental health. We don't take care of that. So This was the timing. So although I've been thinking about this book for probably 3 years or so, now was the time, because people are listening and they're aware, and organizations are setting money aside to do trainings, because everybody, not just the marginalized populations that are being impacted, but our, white brothers and sisters, our allies are like, hold up, like, what is going on? Like, why were Black people dying at these tremendous rates from COVID? So now was the perfect time for this book to come out. So to educate and empower and have people advocate for their own health and wellness, but also have what I call the gatekeepers, who are the people that are out here making the decisions, to like be aware what we're doing is not working. And it's by design. It's historical. It's systemic. Is it all intentional? No, but the impact is still the same. So we always talk about political justice, criminal justice. We need to start talking about health justice.
I like that. I like when I seen the title. I was like, yeah, that's a very catchy title.
Yeah, justice for the health of it. Hashtag health. Yeah.
And I think that's something that, or people need, like you say, people need to be more aware. And I think 2020 brought out a lot of awareness in a whole lot of things.
Didn't it?
And it's crazy how you just mentioned, like, we don't really get the health care properly that we should get, you know. So, and it just kind of make you wonder, like, what's really going on in our society. And then on top of that, the things we still do in our communities that aren't healthy, you know, especially mental health. You know, you got kids running around here gang banging, fighting, you know, watching your friend get shot. That's not good for you.
It's not. You know, my son has buried more of his friends. I think about when we was kids, we didn't bury our friends. Like
No,
now
it was
kids,
very rare. It's very rare.
now it's you know, it's an everyday occurrence, and it's sad, you know. It's sad.
How do you feel about like the family structure nowadays? Like what part that may or may not play in health and the justice side?
Plays a big part, you know. um Family structures are looking a lot different now, you know. Back when we were kids, our grandparents were 70, 80, 60. Now I'm a grandma, I'm 40 something, you know. So we're grandparents are younger, kids are having kids younger, and we're missing some of those seeds from being planted. It's and social media, my God, like we did stupid stuff in our age, but it wasn't captured on social media to be passed around the school and last forever, right? These kids can't escape. You know, you're looking at social media and you're thinking those realities are real, but that's not real. People giving you the best version of themselves on social media. So what you're seeing is not really real, but our kids are, you know, they feeling like, well, dang, I don't got those sneakers, or I don't got that. And then it's causing some bad decisions. That's why mentorship is important. And the village mentality, like we have got to bring that back. But in order to bring back the village mentality, we have to eradicate parents being pissed off because you say something to their kid. Like
Yeah.
back when I was growing up, I acted up at Miss Sally down the street could handle me, then take me home and mommy gonna handle me. Now you can't say nothing to nobody's kids, and you know, we gotta do stuff different. The way we doing it, it just ain't working.
Yeah. It seemed like everybody, I'm just out to get mines,
Yep. Yep.
you know. And like you said, don't nobody want nobody say nothing to their kids. I know people that coach and they like it is so hard to coach these kids nowadays. Can't raise your voice, you know, everything is so ultra sensitive.
You think about
Uh,
I heard somebody saying their child was in a sport and all the kids get to play. And I'm like, where'd that come from? Like, I come from the school of the best play, you know, but
yeah,
now we're making our kids so sensitive. Like, no, everyone shouldn't get to play. The best should get to play, you know, but
yeah,
we're, you know, call the cops if your parents, it's just like we creating a world, they scared to fight. The word, you know, we gonna fight, we gonna live. Worst thing we had to worry about was getting jumped. Man, now these kids is out here killing each other, and it's because they are so sensitive. Like I fought us, you know, I fought us. We gotta do stuff a little bit different, you know.
yeah, absolutely. So this is your first book. Let everybody know where they can get it at.
Yeah. So this is the book, if you can see it. Justice for the Health of It, hashtag health justice. Right now it's available for pre-order at www.dr, just dr, Latrice Snodgrass book.com. And you can pre-order your copy. And all of those copies will come to me. I'm going to autograph, sign everybody's copies because people were asking, do I want my copy to be signed? I'm going to sign them. And then I'm going to have a book launch. So that information will be coming soon to come to the book launch. But yeah, you can pre-order them now. It's something in there for everybody, you know, talking about some of the historical and systemic things. And I'm not going to give you too much, but you know, when we think about the neighborhoods that we live in, right? Redlining plays a big part of why our neighborhoods look how some of our neighborhoods look the way that they look. So when you think about redlining, you know, that's when certain loans were only given in certain neighborhoods to certain people didn't necessarily look like us, right? So now the property value and things in that neighborhood is lower, so we don't have grocery stores. So we have whole neighborhoods that are food deserts. that's a part of redlining. Our schools, I will never forget, I went to my son's parent teacher conference when he was a sophomore at McKinley, and I'm talking with a math teacher, and it was either geometry or pre-algebra, I can't remember. We're talking about his grade, and I'm asking about the book. She said books weren't in the budget this year. How are books not in the budget for math, right? But the property taxes in these areas that were subject to redlining is low. And what funds the schools? Property taxes, right? So your schools in your area. So things are systemic, and that it is historical as to why we're dealing with certain things. So it's something called the zip code effect. Your life expectancy is determined by your zip code. There's a 30-year discrepancy. It's research. Wow. It's out. Your lifespan could be 30 years lower, 30 years less, based on the zip code you live in. So, Al, your zip code can have more impact on your life expectancy than your genes. So these are the things that I unpack in this book, because that's going to allow people to get this broader understanding of the interdependency between our health outcomes, our education, the prison, the school to prison pipeline. That's a real thing. Our kids are being set up to end up in prison. The pipeline is real. Now that's going to impact your health care, right? So all of these things are interdependent, and we have got to educate ourselves so that when we see it, we can speak up and we can start making changes. We can't change what we don't know. History repeats itself because we don't know, right? So I'm trying to bring some of these things to the forefront and also hold us accountable. Like, ask questions, be a participant in your healthcare journey. Don't just take everything, every medicine, every pill, do your research. Like, you may need it, but you need to be a partner. That doctor worked for you. And I don't think we take more time picking a car than we do a doctor.
and that's the truth. That's the truth. I think a lot of people just, he's a doctor, so he's going to take care of me.
Yeah. Or how many times do people sit there and say, yep, okay, knowing good and well, so you have a doctor that's telling you, your cholesterol is up, don't eat greens or don't eat this. And you sitting there like, okay. And then you go home and you cook your greens and you fry your pork chop, right? Because what they told you is not realistic to your life. So what you need to say is, yeah, doc, I don't eat kale, or I don't like almond milk. Like, what else can we do? Like, work out something that I'm really going to do, but we don't do that. We just take it and we go with it. And we have got to, you are allowed to question your doctor. You are allowed to push back, and I think we realize that, but we have to start. So this book is full of those types of nuggets and those types of things. With our mental health, I'm going to tell you a quick story, a personal story. So my father in 2014, 1 year later, almost to the day, my grandmother passed away. And then 3 weeks later, my uncle Joe passed away. It sent me into this dark depression and anxiety. It was debilitating. I wasn't sleeping. I couldn't eat. Anxiety attacks were horrible, but I told no one in my family, because I felt I'm the strong one. Like, I'm the one that my family needs. I can't be perceived as weak. I'm not going to go talk to nobody, because I don't want that on my record. If I go to get a job or I go to do something, now my records say that I have mental illness. Like, I don't want that on my record. I suffered in silence for a year. And then finally I was like, hold up, you've been in healthcare over 20, you know better. Like, what can you do? So I began to think about my resources. And most people, your employer has something that's called an employee assistance program. And it's free to you and it's confidential. So I started out with a therapist through my EAP, because it's not going to be anywhere in any records. And through talking with her, I realized I need to tell my story, because if I'm in this position, how many other people are sitting where I'm sitting and not getting help because of the stigma, And BB Moore Campbell, who is the mother of Maya, and I can't think of her last name, but she was on the 90s sitcom with LL Cool J, In the House. She has
Okay.
severe, and her mother said, you know, in such of a race, this world is so race conscious that Black people feel like, I don't want to like deal with this mental illness because that's another deficit that the world is going to see me as having. So we have to normalize receiving mental health treatment because we are dealing with trauma that's not dealt with. We're dealing with all of, you know, when you're trying to navigate your family, you're fighting poverty, you're trying to make ends meet, you have your children, that plays on your mental wellness. We have
Yeah.
to help, you know. So I talk about it now. At first it was uncomfortable, but I talk about it now because I pray that it helps someone else. You know, the silence becomes too loud, and when it's too loud, then what do? We need to talk to somebody, you know. We have to start being like, okay, it's okay for me to have a therapist. I'm gonna go holler at my therapist so that I could get this up off of me and navigate life. Okay, I got to talk to somebody, you know. And our church, you know, I was talking to a bishop and he said sometimes the church is a hindrance because we focus on faith, but faith without works is dead. So,
Absolutely.
you know, we say, well, just pray about it. Don't claim that. No, claim it. Go talk to somebody, but still hit your knees and talk to God too. But go talk to.
Exactly.
Our kids are committing suicide. I read an article, a 9-year-old committed suicide. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, I've been seeing that, like suicide rate for kids is through the roof. And I think a lot of it is based off what we was alluding to earlier, social media. You know,
media.
you like if you're on the wrong end of a situation and somebody done filmed it, now you're humiliated, literally humiliated forever.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Thank you, Auntie Mia Campbell. That's her name, Mia Campbell from In the House. Yeah.
Okay.
But you
Yeah.
humiliate, right? And then you know something else. I was talking to my god brother, Dr. Eric Johnson, and we were talking about the video game. Like you 9 years old, so you playing this video game. Your little man died. Now he come back. Like that ain't how this thing work. You know.
No.
Oh, but you 9. You don't have your brain isn't developed to think through that. So you figure, do they think, okay, the man on the game came back to life?
Yeah.
I may be back tomorrow. Like they don't understand. That's what we have got to start talking about mental health. We got to.
Yeah. I think
The
there's
call
a I think they're becoming desensitized too because these games are so lifelike.
they are.
It's like man, what's really going on here? You know,
Look,
run around shooting, killing, the gore, the blood
it's horrible.
it's just crazy. It's real crazy. Now, you said you're gonna do a book signing, correct?
The
And you're
book.
getting set up for that. So you'll probably have a book tour pretty soon too, right?
Look, I'm
Okay.
playing. Just spoke it out there into the universe. Yes, I have a book tour, Al.
There it is. I've been cheering for you for a long time. I just like the way you move and the way you handle your business. It's like
Oh,
I can tell when you get into it and you're really passionate about it, you go very hard. I respect that. I really do.
thank you. Thank you. Yeah, we got to, right? Somebody did it for us.
Yeah,
So, you know,
absolutely, absolutely.
the blessing. Yep.
And we have to celebrate each other and encourage people, you know, and that's the thing. I love when I see people starting their own businesses and things like that. I'm the first, what can I do to help? I can't do much, but
Yeah.
what can I do for you?
Yep. Yep. Can I just give you some knowledge? Can I just, how can I support you? We have got to just, you right. It's about giving back. We got to give back. We got to support each other. And, with that being said, I appreciate you for like reaching out and, giving me this opportunity to just, talk to people about what God is leading me to do in this journey of my life. So thank you. You say you can't do much, but you got 2,000 people see this that I would have never been exposed to. So that's a
Yeah.
lot.
And that's the thing, because I knew you was coming from a different angle, and I've had different shows with different people. But like I say, I want to expose people to different things. You
Yeah.
understand what I'm saying? And first of all, you're the first woman guest I done had.
Hey, hey.
So you're the first. You're definitely the first. And I'm looking to get more on here. And like I said, I'm just trying to have a cornucopia of guests just doing different things. You know, a lot of people tie me in with the music and TV and film and all that, but we got to get back to educating our people. I don't see it no other way.
Nope, we got to. We got to. And I have something that I'm working on. A business venture. So I want you and everybody to stay tuned, because that mentorship thing that mentorship component that I
Yeah,
told you about, I'm gonna bring that to life, and I'm gonna need the people in the city, in the community, to sign up to be mentors. So when I come across people, because for this book right now, my goal, my audience is, healthcare professionals, community professionals, but also community members. So as we
yeah,
come across people that, I want to be able to give back. So if a person needs coaching, they want to start this business, I want to be able to connect them with someone who's in that space that will give back to them to help them
yeah.
get started. If it's a young lady, I want to have this circle of mentors that, as I come across people, we can funnel in and we can start helping and giving back. So I definitely will be reaching out to you and other people in the community to be a part of this mentorship program for our community, for our Black and Brown community, so that our people that are trying to better themselves and do things with their life can be connected with someone who's done that, who's in that, and they don't have to pay for it, and then they can give back later, because you got people out there that can school you on, I think about Nathan Chester and Jimmy Ladson and little Kelvin, Miles, who are barbers, right?
Yeah.
Is it some other young people that are trying to get into that space, and what knowledge can Jimmy potentially as a mentor give back? So I'm definitely going to be tapping into y'all to build this database of people
Yeah,
that have special skills that can give back to our community, because we have to cultivate our own community.
no doubt. That's one thing I try to take pride in, is being accessible,
Yeah,
especially to young people. Sometimes, our generation tend to be to this, to that. We have to be accessible,
gotta be.
because you don't know who's watching, and one day somebody might get up the nerve like, hey, I need help with this, and
Yeah.
we have to be able to push them in the right direction. Like you said, like, look, I don't know a lot about this, but I know somebody
Uh,
that's in
yeah.
that space, in that field or whatever. That's what's up. That's what's up. So that's the next venture.
Yeah,
And
that's coming. Yeah, that's coming.
do
Yeah,
you plan on do you plan on doing any more books or anything like that?
yeah, absolutely. I have right now. I'm doing some things to build some companion material to this book,
Mm-hmm,
but I definitely want to do a compilation project, because
mm-hmm.
we have some powerhouses in our community, that have things to say. So can we do a project, one book, you write a chapter, where you can then get into this space? And so I have a lot of things that the energy is going now, like the things that we can do in partnership and together. So yeah, I'm gonna ride this one for a minute, because this book has a lot that needs to be unpacked.
Right.
Because if you're not familiar with this space, then some of it is going to take you time to digest it and to understand it, and just unpack it, because it's heavy,
Yeah.
so, but we have to understand it, or we're going to keep on falling prey to what's going on with our health and wellness.
No doubt. Me and my barber was having a conversation, and I want to get your opinion or input, even see if you even have an opinion on it.
Okay.
And we were talking about the Black agenda. Back in the 60s, there seemed like there was a Black agenda, politically wise. What do you feel the Black agenda, or do you feel there is a Black agenda nowadays?
I haven't really thought about that. It definitely needs to be one. We definitely need to come together. Um, Something that's going to uplift and bend. But we just got so much coming at us, Al. The voter suppression bill, and there's a House Bill 22 that is gonna make it so that if you say something back to the cops or you recording, it could be a felony. So we
Yeah,
have
I've
so
seen that.
much at us. It's like I can't even possibly think of like what it should even the Black agenda is at this point, or what it should be at this point, because we just getting flooded and hit with so much. Like I don't have no
Yeah,
profound wisdom in that spot right now, because it's just overwhelming. We being slaughtered on these streets, and it's just so much. Our agenda should definitely be us unifying and us
yeah,
taking back some of our power and us coming together to be the change that we want to see. We're not
like,
there.
yeah, like you were saying earlier. Let's get our village together.
Yeah, that needs to be our agenda,
Yeah,
right?
then just kind of yeah, because we got a lot of man,
We
we
got a
got a
lot.
lot of
We do. And if we get our village back together, then some things are going to happen organically that are just not happening right now. It's being Black is beautiful, you know, you know, and everybody love, like I saw a t-shirt, everybody love our rhythm, but they can't take our blues. I mean,
yeah,
it's heavy, and we just have to start focusing. Our house is on fire right now. Nothing
right.
my white brothers and sisters, like we got some serious allies, some of my best friends, and I know that's cliche. I got a Black friend, I hear people say that, but like some of my best friends, are white, my sisters. So it's just that right now our house is the house that's on fire. So my focus right now is putting the fire out in our house. And we need allies, we need everybody to come together, because right now our voice isn't the voice of power. So we have to have some of those voices of power talking with us and helping us move forward with change that we so desperately need. But we just have to be strategic and intentional. I think that sometimes we have people that are so woke that they are not any use, right? You too woke
Hmm.
being useful, right? um
Yeah,
Not being intentional and strategic. Like we need to really for real be strategic about what anything we do. It needs to be a thought out strategy. Why are we doing it? What's the objective? What is our goal? How we gonna get there? Who's impacted? We need to do a strategize this stuff and then be intentional. And I think that it's almost like we come up with things and then we let it go, and then we come up with this and we don't follow it through. We have to truly plan this stuff out.
yeah. It's like our people tend to be prisoners of the moment. We
Yep.
get hyped up, we get emotional. That's the problem. We got to take our emotion out of business.
Yeah.
This is business. And
Yeah.
I understand you can feel a certain way, but we get too emotional. And then it's like, so what's your drive once that emotion subsides a little
Uh,
bit
yeah.
or altogether?
Yeah.
You
And we're emotional. And I think some of it is because, and this is again from a historical standpoint, a lot of us have had to fight for everything we have, for every promotion we get, for everything we have. So we're always in that mode, like we about to fight. So our we go into situations on 100, and then it's like,
yeah,
okay, I can come down a little bit. This ain't that type of a party. But I think that Black people, we're emotional. We are driven by emotion. We love hard. We fight hard. So when things go down, our emotions kick in. And so we have to be intentional about saying pause, You know, let me regroup, let me settle here, and let me go at this with a cool head, because I can be very emotional. We passionate. We are some passionate people. So a
Yeah.
lot of times that emotion is our passion, you know, but sometimes people aren't hearing us because of how our message is packaged, you know.
Ooh, yes, 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 yeah. You nailed it with there.
Yeah.
You nailed it right there.
And it's hard. Because
Yeah.
if you messing with my baby, he's 29, but that's the you messing with him, I'm coming in ready to blow the roof off. Right?
So shoot first, ask questions later.
And now I'm still looking crazy, like, can anybody bail me out? You know? I ain't handle it right.
Yeah, you're right though. You 100% correct on that.
Yeah.
Man, you got any closing words? Anything you want to say to your peoples, or let anybody know anything in particular before we wrap this up?
Yeah, well, I just want to say, you know, we need, like you said, spend more time getting our village back together. Let's celebrate one another. You know, let's be strategic and intentional about everything that we're trying to do, and um, let's be the change that we want to see. And you know, I'm all about health and wellness. Take care of yourself. Ain't nobody gonna care about your health and wellness journey the way that you do. So make choices that are healthy lifestyle choices. Take care of yourself. Hey, Spesh. Um, take care of yourself. Be an active participant in your health and wellness journey. Go to the doctor. If you have not had an annual wellness visit yet this year, I'm gonna need you to go to the doctor. If you don't have insurance, we have Life Care, which is a fairly qualified, and I'm not connected to them in any way, but it's a community health center that provides, you know, high quality care, and you don't have to have insurance. The Cleveland Clinics, the Sumas, the Mercies, everybody will see you. Go take care of yourself, right? Because if you ain't healthy and you ain't well, our community is not healthy and well. When you see something that's not right, speak up. Speak up and take care of your mental health. Everybody need a therapist. Get you a therapist. It's okay.
There it is. Man, I want to thank you so much for gracing us with your presence, your knowledge, your wisdom. Greatly
Thank
appreciate it.
you, Al. I appreciate it. And you know, shameless plug, if you haven't pre-ordered your copy yet, go to www.drlatricesnodgrassbook.com and get your copy. And I appreciate you in advance. And Al, my brother, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate this. And you keep on being a blessing to the community. You've always been connected to the community. You've always been a blessing. You cool, you laid back, you don't say much, but you working in the community. And I saw Carlton working in the community too. So y'all just keep doing what you're doing, my brothers. I appreciate you.